Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome again to another video. And today we're going to review a Minichamps 143 scale resin model of the Force India Mercedes VJM10. It is a car in which Frenchman Esteban Ocon made his full season Formula 1 debut at the Australian Grand Prix 2017. A very remarkable model because of the pink color, of course, due to the corporate colors of BWT, the Austrian water company that came in late with the sponsorship for Force India. The car was first released in the grayish colors they usually had, and yeah, they changed it to the pink, which I think is a change for the good, and it looks really good. Force India had a great season, finishing 4th, and had some yeah, brilliant races, and Esteban Ocon emerged as a big talent, of course, that season. As you notice, I also have a half-scale helmet of Esteban Ocon, the 2017 Bell helmet he used, and this was a VIP release, so not up for general sale, so I was very happy to have found it, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection. I really love the colors, the BWT colors. It's basically his standard design, but then with the pink instead of his black and red, I believe, and yeah, those bubbles in it really look great, I think. I really love the design, and yeah, the pink really stands out, of course. I added all the aero parts and dummy dots and everything. Also on the visor I had to add the Xylon strip because it was released without a Xylon strip, so I had to have it custom made by my friends at Half Scale Accessories. And then all the usual things on the visor, with the visor strips, the bell engraved pivot screws, the beautiful hands rings, the blue hands rings that really stand out against the pink, and then the front spoiler as well. So yeah, I am very happy with this little helmet. I think it looks great. It really stands out in the rest of the collection, the pink, of course, and I'm very happy to have it next to the model. But we're here to look at the model, so let's do that now. And this is the second release of this particular car, released by CK-Modelcars in a special edition. The first standard edition was in the normal inlay, Minichamps inlay, the black with the checkered flag on it, but that was sold out and became very rare and sought after, and I'm very happy CK-Modelcars decided to do a version of their own with a custom inlay with a picture of the car at the back, and then the corporate Force India colors on it, and it is limited to 333 pieces, even though the model is exactly the same as the standard release. But let's have a look at the model itself. So here we go, a 143 scale model. I usually don't do the 143s, I tend to go for the 118th, but there's no 118th version of this car. There will be a 118th version of the 2018 car, but I think that will be less popular than this one. It's a bit of a shame they didn't make the 2017 car in 118 scale. It may be due to the fact that their previous Force India 118 model, the 2016, didn't really sell very well, I guess, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame. So this model with the beautiful BWT pink colors and the bubbles on the side pod, I really like that. They also changed the livery further down the season with the front wing. Now it's black and pink, and at the end of the season it was totally pink, which looked a bit better, but yeah, even this version looks really good regardless. So yeah, let's have a look at the details, and let's start at the front as we usually do. So the first thing you notice is the very distinctive Force India nose, which we'll talk about later. Let's focus on the front wing now and all the cascades. They're not cut out, but of course it's such a tiny model, it would have been a very fiddly job to do that. You do have the slot gap separators that are quite detailed and refined, and all the turning vanes and flaps on the front wing end plates look really good. Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in on this. Come on, focus. But they're really refined and lots of detail in it. Then moving on to the nose, as I said, very distinctive with those special nose holes. They still use this nose to this day, but that may be due to budgetary costs, well, wobbling all over the place, and the lack of development and the lack of funds. So yeah, that's very distinctive, that nose, of course, and it kind of worked because they finished quite high up in the championship. Then there is this very pronounced hump in the nose and bulkhead where the Hype logo is, and the number 31. It's basically where the suspension connects to the bulkhead. The suspension itself is very refined as well, very thin pieces with the carbon texture on it, and the brake ducts look really good as well. Then the wheels, I didn't do anything to the wheels. Well, I added the barcode decal, but a thing that I really love are the extra tire markings. They came on the model as standard, and it's an extra piece of detail which I can really appreciate. I do believe the further releases of this model, the Chinese Grand Prix version that CK-Modelcars also commissioned, they don't have this added detail. I don't know why, but yeah. The antennas and everything look really good, very refined as usual. All the aero parts underneath the car, the turning vanes and the barge boards are very good as well, especially on this tiny scale. They're very detailed and very nicely modeled. Same goes for the inlets of the side pods, and by today's standards look really basic. Then the helmet is really nicely done. I noticed they don't have the Johnny Walker logo on the chin part, which I think should be there, I'm not sure. And then you have Esteban Ocon's name behind it. So yeah, the Johnny Walker logo is missing. Not sure why they didn't put it on the car, because as you can see on the house scale model, yeah, you have it here at the front. And it's not that they don't use the Johnny Walker logos, because the rear wing has Johnny Walker on it, so I'm not sure why they didn't put it on. Maybe it might be because in Australia they didn't have it yet on the helmet, I'm not sure. The rest of the figurine looks quite good, and the very typical 3D printed grey Force India steering wheel is nicely replicated as well, very recognizable as well. Then these little details like the pull rings, which I really like on both sides of the airbox. Here underneath the camera next to the E, and the split intake of the airbox as well is nicely replicated. The big shark fin, which was the trend in 2017. The floor of the car is not too detailed, but there's not too much to detail about it, I think. Yeah, here you have all those little gills that are not cut out, but yeah, again, it can be forgiven on such a tiny scale. The rear suspension looks quite good. It's nicely modeled, and the rear wing end plates don't have the gills in it, which aren't cut out either, of course. But yeah, I mean, I can live with that. It still looks good. Then you have the DRS system, which oddly is not connected in any ways to the rear wing. There you can see it's not touching the rear wing whatsoever, and it's also a bit too thin in my opinion. If you look at it from the top, it's like paper thin. Could use a bit more volume, be maybe a bit thicker to really look good, but it looks okay. But if you look at it from the top, it looks a bit too thin and weird. Then the crash structure at the back and the exhaust sticking out are quite okay. It's a bit of a shame they fused those extra pipes with the main exhaust pipe, but yeah, the overall look is quite good. So yeah, very good looking model in my opinion. It's a shame they didn't make it in 1/18, because I believe it would be very popular, but maybe I'm biased because I really love this model, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection, even though it's only a 1/43 scale, and especially together with the helmet it makes for a beautiful set. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you like this review, and I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye.